Welcome to As a Man Thinketh. I am excited to be jumping into this with you guys. I just wanted to share a quick video with you. We are going to jump into this book, and a lot of it obviously talks about thinking and how the mind works. And when we think about the mind, we think in pictures, right? So if I said to you the word door, you're going to get an image of a door. You're not going to see on the screen of your mind the letters D-O-O-R. You're going to get an image of a door. If I said the word car, you're going to get an image of a car. You're not going to see C-A-R. And if I said New York, you're going to get an image of New York. You may get an image of the New York skyline. You may get an image of New York style pizza if you're hungry, or you may get an image of the Statue of Liberty. And if you're not getting an image of the Statue of Liberty, you are now, because that's where I directed your thinking, right? But we think in pictures. And when we think about the mind, as a man thinketh, most people, when they think about the mind, they get an image of the brain. And the brain is an organ, right? That's not our mind. So I want to show you guys a drawing that we're going to be using a lot throughout this study. And I just want to kind of use this as an introductory to. And this is The Stick Person by Dr. Thurman Fleet. So I'm going to draw a big circle. And that big circle is going to represent our mind, right? And then I'm going to draw a small line. That's going to represent a neck, a little tiny neck. And then I'm going to draw a smaller circle. And that's going to represent our body, right? I'm going to draw some little legs and some arms, and that's our stick man. And if you want to be politically correct, and we can draw it a stick woman, right? If you wanted to do it like that. So, and Dr. Thurman Fleet just wasn't such a bad drawer that it was so disproportionate there. But what he's trying to show here is that at the same time, we live on three planes of existence. We are spiritual beings, we're gifted with an intellect, and we live in a physical body. In this physical body, that's where we experience life, right? We can see, we can smell, we can taste, we can touch, and all those kind of things. And we think that is the largest part of who we are, but we wanted to depict in this image, that's actually the smallest part of who we are. You think about, if you've ever heard of Nick Vujicic, he's he's spoken to more people than anybody else, I think, right now, but he's got a lot of great content out there, motivational content. Check him out. But he was born with no arms and no legs. And because he doesn't have any extremities, we can't say that he's any less than a human being, right? We have a body, but we aren't a body. So we have a spiritual part of who we are. We have an intellect. We have a physical body. So this intellectual part of who we are, I'm gonna draw a line. Let's kind of separate those two. And most of you have probably heard of our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. And I'm just going to use this to kind of split it up. And this top part is going to be our conscious mind. And then this bottom part is our subconscious mind. Subconscious mind. And think about this conscious mind. That is our thinking mind, right? We can create thoughts. We receive input from our five senses, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to draw these just kind of like little antennas, right? So we smell something that creates a thought. We hear something that creates a thought. That's also where our will and our reasoning lie. But this is our thinking mind. In this part of our mind, we can accept or reject any thought that comes in. Any thought that comes in, we can accept it or we can reject that thought, right? So if I see a commercial about a nice greasy cheeseburger, I can have this thought that comes in, so, ooh, I'm hungry. Let me go get a cheeseburger. Well, I can accept that thought and I can go get that greasy cheeseburger, or I can reject that thought and say, you know what? I'm really trying to do a lot better right now. I'm not going to go get the greasy cheeseburger. I'm going to go eat me some carrots, right? I'm going to go get me a salad, right? But I can accept or reject that. This is our thinking mind. This is our conscious mind. Our subconscious mind, that is our emotional mind. That's where our feelings are. That's where our habits are. That's where our beliefs, our opinions, our perceptions, all that lie in the subconscious part of our mind. And I want to show you this. The subconscious part of our mind has no ability to reject any thought that is passed on to it from the conscious thinking mind. Think about that. It has no ability to reject any thought that's passed on to it. He even talks about in the book there, we'll get into it, but he says even someone that, somebody tells himself a lie over and over and over and over again, they eventually begin to believe it. Well, that's how you pass it on to your subconscious mind, is you pass that on. You keep saying it to yourself, and that is exactly why we said we're creating a 6-month vision, and we're going to state it every single day in the present tense. We're going to state it day in and day out for the next 30 days. We're pressing that on to our subconscious mind, right? So this is where our habits, our beliefs, our perceptions, how we view the world, all those kind of things are right there. So, and then our spiritual part of who we are is the largest part of who we are. You hear this in, the Olympics. I say it's the spirit of the games, the spirit of the games. It's exactly why someone like Usain Bolt, he's the fastest person on the earth. It's exactly why he continues to train to run faster and run harder. It's the same reason the long jumper tries to jump longer. It's the spiritual side of who they are. Now, Jesus said he came so that we may live. And when he says the old man is gone, the new man has come, this is exactly what he's talking about, taking off the spiritual side of who we are. We're creating a new man in the spirit, and he gives us his spirit. And just a side note right here, if you read the book of John, I love the book of John in the Bible. There is so much confusion about the things that Jesus said and the things that he did and who he was, because of many of the things he spoke were concerning the spirit, yet people were thinking he was talking about the physical plane of the body. You think about when Nicodemus comes to him at night and Jesus said, "You must be born again." Nicodemus said, "How in the world am I going to go back into my mama's womb whenever I'm older? Is that possible?" And Jesus says, "You must be born again." He was talking about the spiritual side. Your spirit has to be reborn, not your physical body, not out here on this physical plane. When he's meeting the woman at the well, she comes and Jesus says, "I can give you living water," right? Where you never thirst again. And she's like, "Yeah, give me some of that so I don't have to come out here and in the middle of the heat of the day and come out where all these other people are." She was thinking on the physical plane. Jesus was talking in the spiritual plane. So we are spiritual beings, gifted with the intellect, living in a physical body. So we're going to be using this a lot in our study. And one thing I wanted to take away on this, man, I could do a deep dive on this, but the one thing I wanted to share with you guys is introduce you to this. And as we talk about as a man thinketh, how does a man thinketh? Well, there are 6 intellectual faculties of our mind that we all have. We've already talked about there's 5 senses, and we all know those. I could go ask our 4-year-old, what are your 5 senses? You can smell, you can taste, you can touch, you can feel, all that kind of good stuff. But if you can ask a Harvard graduate, what are the 6 intellectual faculties of the mind? They would have no idea. So I want to share with you these 6 intellectual faculties of the mind that we all have and how you can use those for your benefit. He talks about in the book, I want to read it real quick, but he talks about, you may have been sowing in ignorance. He says, this is on page 10 of our line book right here. It says, "As they may have hitherto woven in ignorance and pain, they may now weave in enlightenment and in happiness." And that's what I want to show you is how do you use these 6 intellectual faculties. So you have 6. The 6 are memory, reason, will, imagination, intuition, and perception. And I'm just going to do a quick overview of those. Memory, that it's not, people say, "Well, I have a bad memory." that's not right. You have a perfect memory. You might not be good at recalling, but you have a perfect memory. Your memory is stored here in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind files every single thought impress, and it puts it into a filing cabinet. You just got to be able to find the filing cabinet and pull it out. It's exactly, so you think about this. You say, you've got somebody's name on the tip of your tongue, and you can't remember, what is that guy's name? What is his name? What is his name? You can't remember it, and then you start thinking about something else, and boop, the idea just pops up. Oh, his name is John, right? His name is John. Well, as your conscious mind was thinking about something else, this subconscious mind had pulled out the filing cabinet and was bloop, 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 bloop. Ah, there it is, John, right? And here you go. So your memory, you have a perfect memory. Maybe you're not good at recall. So memory. Reason, that is kind of like the judge of your mind. Can I, will I, won't I, should I, shouldn't I, right? It's the judge of the mind. And what I'll say to you about this the reasoning part of our mind, it serves as almost a guard, which is good. Many people have a hard time with this in entrepreneurship, and I'm going to suggest to you that the reason we have a hard time with it is we haven't figured out where we're going, what our ultimate goal is, and then what our values are. We do a value sheet whenever I talk about coaching, and in our Legacy Builders men's mastermind group, we do our top 5 values. I'm going to suggest you're going to have a hard time with decisions and opportunities if you don't know where you ultimately want to go and what your top 5 values are. Your reasoning will keep you should I, shouldn't I, right? Your will. Most people think of this as willpower, right? I'm going to force myself. I got willpower. I'm going to force myself to do it. That's not what we're talking about here. Will is our ability to stay focused on one thought or one idea to the exclusion of all other thoughts or ideas. We're not getting that SOS, that shiny object syndrome. We're staying focused. Will is our ability to stay focused on that destination, on our goal, on that 6-month vision, on that vision statement we have for each one of those. It's our ability to stay focused on that. Imagination. Oh, I love imagination, right? I love ideas. This is the creative part of our mind. This is in our conscious mind. In the book Think and Grow Rich, we talk about, he says that an idea is stillborn most of the time. What most people do is they have this idea come in, and they'll kind of look at the idea, they'll look at their current results, and they'll say, well, that doesn't match. That's too big. I've never done anything like that before. And I always talk about this. Look around the room that you're in right now. Is that room big or small? Right? And the question is, compared to what, right? Exactly, compared to what? The room's neither big nor small. If you compare it to a big arena, it's small. If you compare it to the bathroom, it's probably big, right? So the room isn't big or small, it just is. Same thing with this idea. It's not big or small, it just is. But when we compare it to our current results and we say it doesn't match, well, it's not going to match. Our current results are coming from our past performance, and this inspired idea is coming from our future potential. And what we need to do is we need to take this idea into the workshop of the mind, of the imagination, and start playing with it, right? Get creative with it. Think about all the different ways to bring it forward. If this were possible to bring it forward, what are some things that I could do? What could I do? And you list those out and you get creative with it, right? It's the workshop of your mind. It's where you take ideas and you just kind of go to work with it. Intuition. That is the part of the mind where you have something come in and you don't know how you know, but you really know. You know what I mean, right? It's that part of your mind that you just know, right? I say it's the Holy Spirit part of us, where our Holy Spirit speaks to us. We just know that that's the nudge, that's the direction He's wanting us to go. Perception, that is your view of the world, right? We all have a different perspective. We all see things from a slightly different lens. Not all people are going to see things the way you see things. Not all people are going to respond to the same things you do. There may be 30 people that watch this video. There may be 500 people that watch this video, and there will probably be 500 different responses, because we all see things from a slightly different perception. And what I'm going to say to you when it comes to perception is your perception matters. There's value in that. And then 2, as you lead a team, it's going to be very important for you to turn around, come around to the other side of the table and see other people's point of view. So this is the stick man or stick chick, whatever you want to say. We're going to start diving into this. This is more of an introductory to the stick figure. Hope this has added value to you guys. I'm looking forward to digging in more in just a bit. Have a great day.